Let's do a quick review of sig figs for the separations lab. Remember, if you multiply or divide only, you go with the least number of sig figs. Make sure you ignore anything exact. That includes things like 100%. This is considered exact because you have 100% of something. It's an entire quantity. Let's go ahead and do the first calculation. So percent mass, you'll notice that this has 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs on top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig figs on bottom. We go with whatever is the least, 4. We just make sure our answer has that, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we need for our answer is this, except that this last number, just one out, don't go over to here. Just the one over will tell us that we need a round. So the answer to this is 23.61%. In lab today, you may find that instead of 5, you have 4. You still need to make sure that you're paying attention to the last number that's just outside of the number of sig figs that you're supposed to have and see whether or not it should round your percentage up or keep it the same. Now, the other calculation you want to do is percent error. You want to put the whole amount in your calculator. This stands for absolute value. So you can just put it in your calculator with parentheses, but make sure that you're thinking in your head, oh, it's supposed to come out positive. When you do subtraction or addition, it has to do with place value. So in this case, both numbers go out to the thousandths place. That's where we draw the line. And what that means is that this is the number that we're using to determine sig figs. So now that we know the number, now we're going to make a little note to ourselves. We're going to count it differently because we know in a minute we're going to divide. So look. It's only this number and this number that counts towards sig figs. This has 2 sig figs when we get done, and this has 4 sig figs. So when we go over and we look at our answer over here on the right-hand side, now we need to make sure that we're picking an answer that has 2, and that's because now we're dividing. So that has 2 sig figs. The 1 does not round the 2 up, so the answer is 2.2%. When you subtract, you often may find that you lose sig figs. And that is fine. Let's do one more example to make sure that you can see that. Again, we put all the numbers in the calculator. Look how close these two numbers are now. So we would expect a very, very small percentage, which is what we've got over here. But let's do our check. Again, both numbers go to the thousandths place, so that's where we draw our line. And our answer is the 0.001. Now, if we're doing sig figs, because we're switching to sig figs because we know now we're going to divide, this is a number that only has 1 sig fig. 1 sig fig versus 4 sig figs. Again, you don't count the 100%. And so in this case, because there's only one number, there we go. And we got to check 1 over. And this right here is not going to round. We do not look at the 5. We just go one number over. So the answer is 0.03%. Now you can get all your sig figs correct in this lab.